Hey everyone, welcome back to Vibes, Camera and Chaos. I've got something super exciting to share with you all, our incredible Alaskan adventure. Buckle up, because it's going to be an unforgettable ride. I'll take you through our trip from the moment we boarded the plane in Austin to our final stop, and I promise there's a little bit of chaos and a lot of beauty along the way. Let's dive right in. We started our journey on August 2nd, with a flight from Austin, Texas to Anchorage, Alaska, with a quick stop at Salt Lake City Airport. Our flight took off at 7 p.m., and after what felt like a lifetime of waiting, we finally landed in Anchorage at 2:18 a.m. local time. Talk about a crazy time change! We drove straight to the Econo Inn. After catching a few precious hours of sleep, we freshened up and enjoyed breakfast around 8:30 a.m., got dressed, and headed out for the day. Our first adventure? The Anchorage bus tour. The 3.5-hour scenic drive to Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center was absolutely worth it. Pro tip alert, if you're planning a trip to Alaska, be prepared for a bit of a challenge when it comes to booking things. We were traveling in tourist buses between destinations, which can be pretty tedious and time-consuming. Since Alaska is a prime destination, and everything is only open during the summer, things get booked up super fast. Even after months of planning, we couldn't get a rental car, and we missed out on safari tickets. You'll hear about that later in the video. So, plan your travel months in advance to avoid any last-minute disappointments. But wait, it gets better! We hopped on a boat tour to Portage Glacier. The ice, the water, everything was magical. Afterward, we drove another hour to Girdwood, walked the Glen Alps trailhead. The views? Unreal! We soaked it all in for half an hour before heading back to Anchorage. Pro tip for anyone visiting from USA, most network providers don't work in Alaska, even though Alaska is part of the USA. None of us had phone service, so we relied on public Wi-Fi to connect with tour operators. And I have to give a special mention to Bombay Deluxe Indian Restaurant in downtown Anchorage. Finding Indian food in the middle of Alaska? Pure gold! The next day, we checked out of the inn around 11:30 a.m., but our bus from the Anchorage Museum wasn't until 2:50 p.m. So we had some time to kill and decided to take a walk around Anchorage's 5th Avenue. Not going to lie, it was a bit of a challenge lugging all our luggage, but hey, we made it work. We hopped on a bus to Talkeetna, which took a couple of hours, and finally we arrived at our cute little cottage around 5 p.m. Talkeetna is super charming, but walking with luggage? Not so much. The 15-minute walk to our cottage with luggage was quite the workout. We better hurry if we want dinner. This small town, everything closes early. We walked back to town and found limited options for vegetarians like us. Spinach and feta sandwich from Spinach Bread Food Truck it is. We grabbed our sandwiches, did some souvenir shopping, and headed back to our cozy cottage. Rise and shine! This was the day we'd been waiting for. It's Glacier Adventure Day. We had to leave early for our glacier tour, 8 a.m. sharp, and wow, was it worth it! The flight over the glaciers was hands down one of the most epic experiences of my life. We were in awe the entire time. And then, hold on to your seats, this tour wasn't just a flyover, it was a landing on the glacier experience. Before hopping on the plane, we had to change into special boots, thankfully, provided by the tour company. The flight lasted about 6 to 7 hours, but the views? They were beyond incredible. Taking off around 8:30 a.m., we soared above magnificent glaciers before landing on one. I know the shaky camera work might give you motion sickness. Sorry, but I had no idea of tripods back then, but I couldn't cut this down, I had to share it all. The panorama was just too beautiful to miss. Even though this trip happened back in 2021, these memories feel as fresh as yesterday. were flying in between mountains, over the mountains, and saw the clouds clinging to the tips of the peaks. The views were absolutely surreal. That was a smooth landing, and again I would like to give a huge shout out to our pilot. She did an incredible job maneuvering the plane through those mountains. Even if the video was a bit wobbly, I'm sure you'll adore these gorgeous photos. Take a look and let me know what you think. After our epic flight, we immediately headed for our next adventure, Mahays JetBoat tour, which took us to a native Alaskan settlement where we explored their traditional lifestyle. It was so cool to see the preserved animal skins, moose and deer antlers, and learn about their unique kitchen designs. A personal highlight was seeing a polar bear up close and beaming with joy at this rare opportunity. Did you know polar bears are my absolute favorite animals? Feel how heavy these antlers are, our guide encouraged as we marveled at moose and deer remains. It's amazing how these animals carry this weight their entire lives, I reflected, feeling a mix of awe and sadness. There was also a trail near our boat, where we could pick some berries, although we were warned not to eat them. The guide warned us stay together, live bears could appear anytime. Though secretly, I was disappointed we didn't spot any. After this enriching hour-long tour, we returned to our cottage, packed up, and headed to our next destination, Denali Park. Next day was supposed to be legendary, but, well, not everything goes as planned. We were supposed to go on a Denali Park safari, but we only managed to snag one ticket. So, my husband went off on his solo adventure, lucky guy, while me and my daughter stayed behind exploring Denali Grizzly Bear Resort. While he ventured into the wilderness, we explored Denali Grizzly Bear Resort. The resort was peaceful and serene, with a river and trails at the back, but the Wi-Fi? Non-existent. We had to walk to the main building for meals and Wi-Fi, which wasn't ideal, but hey, the views made up for it. Sometimes the unexpected detours are the best part of travel. We imagined how wonderful it would be to stay in those riverside cottages, falling asleep to the natural sound of flowing water. Though we couldn't stay there, we savored some peaceful moments by the river, took photos, and then headed to the main building for lunch and Wi-Fi. Meanwhile, my husband was out in nature, braving the heat and seeing the only bear in the entire park, so distant he couldn't even photograph it. All that adventure for a tiny dot of a bear, he joked later. Not so lucky guy after all. Next day, we checked out from the resort at 12 p.m., then drove to Fairbanks International Airport. Our flight wasn't until 10 p.m., so we had some downtime. But hey, remember 2021? That was the time of the pandemic, so we had to get our COVID test before flying back. We landed at our first stop at 8:15 a.m. local time and the next flight was at 7:15 p.m. Now, I know what you're thinking, what did we do for 10 hours? Well, take a wild guess where we ended up. Leave your answers in the comments below. Thank you. Keep watching for more.